It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
This is Straight Talk. This is Straight Talk with it live a medium Greg Penn, the preacher man, and his sidekick Shannon Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fan, the preacher man.
Well, welcome today to Straight Talk with yours truly, little man, great fan between all these two big men. You see what I'm saying? I look so small. People say, you look so small, white, because they're so big. Hey, welcome back, Tate.
It's good to be back, fellas. Good to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you. And Ron, good to see you and being with us earlier today as we were talking about, unity and coming together as ministers and dealing with the ills and the immorality of our society today.
Absolutely.
But we're gonna have several different discussions today. I always do stuff on the fly, right? And then we get into it. I asked Tate to give any numbers, and then he don't have no numbers.
No,
But I know you don't. I know you don't. I know you didn't have no numbers when you came, but you the number man.
Okay.
People enjoy the program. I'm getting a lot of subscribing, and we actually continue to strive to our channel and like us, subscribe, as Miss C would say, and tell others about us and make comments and share. All right, listen. This is what I want to say. Superintendent Schoolboy. He watched the program. Brother Brian Johnson. He's a PK kid, and Brother Johnson said Cynthia is funny. Cynthia is funny. Cynthia couldn't remember to tell people who want to be on the program to go out to Straight Talk News 1362@gmail.com. Cynthia, don't do that today, okay? Then when you do it today, we're gonna know something really wrong with you. All right, listen. We're gonna talk before we get to Miss C. Let's talk about sleeping Donald Trump, who got booed last night. Boo! There was so many boos in the garden there. Boo! I don't see how he fell asleep in all them boos. But anyway, the game was a good game. It really was a good game. You can give me your thoughts. In terms of the game. But there's a guy that be wearing all them different colored coats and stuff like that.
Spike.
They called him Clyde.
Oh, Clyde. Walt Frazier.
That's my cousin. So that's my dad's cousins. My dad's first cousin's son. Walt Frazier. Yeah, but that's just Clyde. We called him Clyde or June, but now he's in New York. He's now Clyde.
Oh yeah, he's an Atlanta kid.
Yeah, he went to Howard High School. Yeah, grew up over in Fourth Ward. Went to Howard High School. Great basketball player, great football player.
Oh yeah,
great athlete. I was telling my wife they should have called him a thief. The way when he was playing basketball, when he used to steal much dribbling than they do now. Walt be stealing the ball. He could have took the ball from him and throw it to go the other way. Hey, that was the Knicks. That was the winning Knicks back in the 70s, right? So, but anyway, what do you think about Brunson and this Knicks team, and then I can't call his name, the tall guy from France.
Wembyama.
Wembyama. If I remember Yama, I can remember Wembyama, yeah. Well, what do you think about the game? And now, what do you think about it? You want to go first, Tate, since you haven't been here?
Okay, sure. I didn't really watch all of the game.
Why?
I don't like the Knicks. As far as Wemby and Castle, I like the Spurs. I like the organization. I'm a Knicks hater. So as long as
you hate a lot, you're a lot of haters, man. You're a lot of haters.
Because when they lose, it's better drama. When they lose, you just see people losing their minds, and I get content from that.
Oh, you do? So you hate them because other people love them. Ain't
They've been losing their mind winning, though. These videos coming out of New York City on the street after game 1 and game 2, that city need to be under martial law with the fans up there right there.
Yeah, so when they lose, it's better. Now, as far as Trump, let me say this right quick.
Go on.
Father Time is undefeated.
It is.
He's 80 years old.
Yeah.
How old is he? 79, 80?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, it's Father Time is undefeated. So him falling asleep and they joking about biting and all of that stuff. You live long enough, I live long enough. We get 79, 80 years old. Father Time is undefeated.
Well, let me just tell you something. I ain't 79 and I still go to sleep.
Yeah. I'm saying. But it's a big deal when Biden was doing it.
Right.
But then some people say, Biden was a grandfather.
Right.
There was a lot of things, a lot of pressure on him. He was in his 80s, and this is what happened. And if Trump continues to live, that's what's gonna happen.
He don't have no grandchildren. He probably ain't studying, but he got some. But he ain't studying. Yeah, he got some grandkids. He got some grandkids. Ivanka got some children,
right?
And then Don Jr. got children. I mean, he got some grandkids.
One of them got some children.
Yeah, one got some children. I think it's Don Jr.
Yeah,
they got some children. Now, I may be mistaken, y'all. Don't hold me to that, but I know he got some grandchildren by one of them boys.
Yeah, but Trump is a real symbol for the real efficacy of white supremacy. He's fat, he's obese, he's unprepared to do his job. He often is unmotivated to do the job. He falls asleep on camera. He is often seen, quite often, as a buffoon, as someone who is uneducated to the general topics that he is supposed to be a caretaker of, but yet America seems to continue to fall in love with his brand of politics just because he's bombastic, just because he makes wild claims, just because he claims to be the best at everything. Americans have used that front-running personality as a way of thinking that he's qualified. We keep calling him a deal maker, even though we have no deal with Iran, even though the deal he made with China was very similar to the deal that we already had in place under the Obama and Biden administration. So we've really gained very little under his leadership, despite his constant blustering. I was hoping the fans at New York would have gone and kicked him out the garden. He's a Florida boy now. He's Florida man living down there in Mar-a-Lago. And now just because the Knicks are in the finals, he's running back to his New York roots, trying to act like he's one of them. Well, you gave New York up a long time ago. In fact, I'm not even sure if he can still do business in the state of New York after Letitia James got through with him in state court up there. So, but the real issue is that why do we find any leadership qualities in a personality like Trump? Why do we find any reason to elect anybody of that caliber? I mean, who's the guy out there in LA who was Pratt, the former reality star, reality TV star, who was headed to the LA runoff for mayor? And so we have a real problem in our society elevating ignorant, unqualified, particularly white men, as long as they have a certain braggadocio about them, as long as they have the ability to make outlandish and unfounded claims, we will give money. We will support them. We will elect them to offices that they are entirely unprepared for. So while these are detestable and unqualified personalities, why do they still get elected in the office? Why do they still get the prestige and the anointment as social and cultural leaders? And that's something I really need our country to digest, because if we're gonna back out of the military industrial complex, if we're gonna back out of the war on poverty and the war on drugs, we're going to have to elect leaders that have a great sense of commitment to the common good, commitment to humility and patience and love and joy and passion and family. And we've yet to do that. So we're going to see how we continue.
There we go.
To adjust.
There we go. There you go. There you go. Same thing, same station, same spiel. But we talk about basketball, right up for basketball. So,
well, let me get my basketball take. Big fan of the Knicks from the 90s. I was a big Anthony Mason, my favorite basketball player of all time. Charles Oakley, John Starks, Patrick Ewing. I was a big Knicks fan in the 90s. After the Hawks was always eliminated in the first round, I would shift over, hoping that the Knicks could get past the Bulls or get past the Pacers and win the NBA Finals. Never happened in the 90s. So it may happen now. So as they continue to do well, that old bandwagon New York Knickdom done jumped on me. So I'm kind of rooting for the Knicks to pull it out. We'll see if they can, but they took an L last night. So maybe we have us a series that'll go maybe 6 or 7 games.
Well, you got Castle and who played really well last night.
He did.
From Covington, Georgia, and Vassell, who's also from Georgia. Those young guys are up and coming, really stars. I'm not with the Spurs, but I know good talent when I see it.
Oh, yeah.
And they got some great potential for their future. Well, since Ron took us there to talk politics, we were talking basketball. We were talking basketball.
Oh, yeah.
But he goes back to that same message because really the message is a profound message and it's true message because we continue to do the same thing so we continue to get the same results. That's a sign of stupidity.
Insanity.
Mm-hmm. Because when you start looking at where we are and where we were, we are our own worst enemy because we buy into the narratives. Because here's a man who said that he was going to stop the war in Ukraine day one.
Yeah.
The war is still going on. Here's a man who was saying he was going to do tariffs and it was going to make it better for the economy. We about broke now. Here's a man who jumped in a holy war that had no business being putting America in a holy war with Israel and Iran. That's a holy war that he put America in. And he created a problem for our economy in terms of gas because of the Strait of Hormuz, whatever they call it. It's closed down, so can't no tankers get gas out of there. And our gas prices are up and up. Our grocery prices are up and up. But here's a man who said that he was going to stop that war. But if you think about it, when Trump ran the first time, the biggest thing that was being said about Trump, he does not know anything about foreign policy. People are quick to forget, but they said Trump had no knowledge of foreign policy. And he has proven to us that he has no knowledge of foreign policy because he's alienated our allies from America. He has caused countries that was allies with America now they're against. Why are you jumping on Canada? Why are you talking about taking Greenland? I mean, what's the purpose of I'm going to take that land. I'm going to take that land. I mean, really, come on now. I know you got something to say, Tate.
Yeah,
I see you making notes over there.
I was actually making notes when Ron was talking, and then when we get to you too, Bishop.
Okay.
Quickly, when you talk about deals and Donald Trump, the fact that he's filed bankruptcy on multiple occasions, that lets you know that's an indicator that all of these things about economy, he understands policies. If you can't handle your own personal finances, how would you handle a macro? You can't handle the micro. Now, how did he get in there? We talked about this earlier, personality versus policy.
Right.
And so we if you are a politician and you have a personality, and say what you ever want to say about President Obama, he's a personality.
Right.
When he was running, he has a personality. Shapiro in Pennsylvania, he's a personality. On the other hand, Kamala, she doesn't have much of a personality. And it resonated throughout the campaign. Gavin Newsom, he has a personality. Now, whether or not he wins or not, it's just left up whether or not he runs. But a lot of these people, they vote based on personality. Now, Kemp, when he won Georgia, his personality resonated in South Georgia because of the guns and all of that. And Jackson's trying to do the same thing, but I don't think he has that because he's not authentic, whereas Kemp was. And so when we look at Trump, even the first time when he came, he had a name. And because he had money, but how did he get this money? Because he's filed bankruptcy all these times. A lot of people, either they don't know or they don't care. And then, I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. When he started dealing with foreign dignitaries, they don't care about his personality. It doesn't matter to him, to them. Therefore, he's not as effective overseas. He's not as effective with other world leaders.
And he pays his taxes overseas. He's paying his taxes in
Okay.
China. He's paying his taxes in Ireland
Okay.
and where his businesses are elsewhere. It's only here where he can get away with not paying his taxes.
Okay. Well, even before, and so I'm gonna say this and be done.
No, dude, you a preacher, go on.
Even before the tax issue, he understood the tax codes, and there are many loopholes. Now I don't know what the loopholes are in foreign countries, so he did file. Now whether or not he paid his fair share and all of that, that's a whole another discussion that no one would ever know because the IRS would never reveal that. The only thing you know is what he says, and that's all we'll go from there. But as far as his promises dealing with a holy war, he doesn't even understand Ishmael and Isaac. He doesn't understand Hagar and Sarah. He doesn't understand Abraham. He doesn't understand. All he's looking for is trying to endear himself with Israel because the people around him have told him, if you endear yourself with Israel, you endear yourself with God. And those are those fundamental, those are evangelicals are telling him that. So he listens to Israel for this war.
Hold on for a minute. Let me just stop you right there. Let me stop right there. He could give a hootenanny about what somebody said. He's looking at where he can make some money out of Israel by building a hotel or doing something.
Sure.
He's materialistic. He could care like fuck. But the man, he has no concept or want to know anything about it. You might well say he's an atheist, in my opinion, because he doesn't really care. Because if you really cared with the values of what we believe, what Jesus taught us is to love you one another, look out for the least, the less, the lost, and the left out, he wouldn't have cut out all the programs that help so many. And I mean, all the programs he cut out have helped so many. Not only black folks, it helped people, period.
Yeah.
Who the least, the less, the lost, and the left out. That's what Jesus said to do. So, in my opinion, he's an atheist. You know, people can say what they want to say. In my opinion, Joyce Myers is an atheist because she's preaching a doctrine that is not the doctrine of Jesus Christ. She's preaching the doctrine of Satanism. And people are following that doctrine. You know, because people perish for lack of knowledge, and people are greedy, and greed is an attribute of Satan. Right? And and Donald Trump is definitely greedy. And when you're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars that he's getting, but who is he helping? Himself. He's encouraging himself and his kids, right? So I just wanted to stop you right there on that point. Yeah, I had to say that.
Yeah, that's fine. And another promise, the tariffs you mentioned that was going to be so helpful. Again, that's personality. We're going to tax the other countries, not understanding that they're just going to pass those costs to us. But he's talking to a group of people who's looking for a personality, and they don't understand policy. Then the groceries. Day one, grocery prices are going to go down. Promises. That couldn't happen. I don't care who it was. When we make these empty promises, and again, it's, in my opinion, it's not even the promise, it's the personality. It's who's saying it. And then finally, you're talking about Canada, Venezuela, Greenland. All of these things are toys. It's that he wants to be like Putin. He wants to be a dictator where he enlarged the country. He enlarged the territory. And you are correct. If he was able to get those lands, he would go in and build Trump this, Trump that, Trump that. When we went to Dubai, there were a lot of buildings dedicated to the king over there, and that's just but they loved the king over there. It wasn't a problem. If he could change every monument in D.C. with Trump something, he would do it because of narcissism. And so now there's a fine line between personality and being narcissistic. But a lot of people who vote for him don't even understand what that means.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. You take off more. You making more sense today you ain't made in a long time.
Okay. Well, I'm done making sense. I'll pass it on quick while we're ahead. How about that?
Well, we have an opportunity before us right now in the midterms to send a strong message that politics as usual is no longer justifiable. Thankfully, the Senate did vote down the SAVE Act. The Save America Act is now halted, at least temporarily. It's amazing how Republicans under Trump have gone backwards on a lot of their long-held beliefs. Republicans were always against nationalizing elections. They wanted elections are constitutionally mandated to be held at the state level. The state level controls and mandates and counts up their electoral votes, send them on to the electoral college so we can decide our next president. But for some reason, Trump wanted to nationalize this process, which limits states' rights. Again, this was the states' rights party. But in order to control and increase the power of the federal government while he's in office, Republicans will suspend or abolish their long-held traditions to accommodate this strongman, to make it easier for the federal government to intervene, to make it harder on us for citizens to go and vote. The SAVE Act would have required for us to come to the polls with a passport or with a birth certificate to prove your American citizenship. This has been something that has only been advocated by strongmen in the history of democracies. And why, again, is his personality such a gateway to strongman policies, to dictatorial policies, to top-down economics? And so we do have to find a new way of thinking as a voting population, as citizens in a democracy, that I feel at this point we have over 250 years of history on behind us that lets us know the government is in bed with big business, big technology, and the military industrial complex. It's so hard to see this country when we look at food deserts in every major city, when we look at the lack of economic development of large areas of Black and brown America, that when every community is dealing with the same issue, this is intentional, that this is a very determined and precise creation of a particular group of people. And why we continue to give the top 1%, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates, the Sackler family, the Trump family, we keep giving them so much esteem, so much prestige, that it is making it harder and harder for everyday Americans to afford food, to afford housing, to afford reliable transportation. And it seems as if we are only going to have the collective will to do something about it after we fall off the cliff, because the house is on fire right now, but everybody wants to continue to go on like it's just business as usual.
Ron, you know, we used to sing a song when we were younger. We're going to take a break, as I said this. We'll be back after Miss C. It was Scotland's burning, look out, look out. Fire, 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 fire. Pour on water. It's time for us to pour on water, because this house is on fire. We'll be back after this message from Miss C with news and information and a few commercial messages or PSAs in terms of don't text and drive, and where do you keep your weapon? Because you know they're locking up folks now. If your children go out there and use your gun and kill somebody, we'll be back.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast, or more or less. Greg, I want to let you know this is my third try at doing this, because I told you I wasn't going to mess up. So anyway, this is my third try. Now, if I do mess up, please know that it's not my intention. I guess it's just maybe my silliness. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to do my best. All right. Okay. Cornerstone Community Baptist Church at 4895 Campbellton Road in Southwest Atlanta continues its 28th anniversary celebration, June 14th and the 28th. Guest speaker on June 14th will be Dr. Mark Dean Haywood, and on the 28th is Reverend E.L. Jones bringing the word. Both services begin at 10 a.m. The 19th church anniversary of In His Great Name Worship Center at 81 Dodge Street in Fairburn, Georgia, celebrates their 19th church anniversary on June 28th, 2026, with two big services one at 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. Guest speakers include Pastor Jada Sims and Elder Judy Menninger. Make It Count Women's Conference will be held July 24th and 25th at Flipper Temple AME Church, 580 Atlanta Student Movement Boulevard in Southwest Atlanta. This two-day transformational experience for women will include guest speakers, a panel discussion, and more. To get registration information, call the church at 404-522-5020. Reverend Elijah Shafar, pastor, Lady Mel Shafar will be the host. Now listen, there are 4 things I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to like us, subscribe to us, comment about us, let us know what you're thinking about us, okay? And share us. Don't keep Straight Talk News to yourself. Let everybody know what you know, okay? And listen, if you'd like for us to announce your event, just email it to us at straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. And listen, until we meet again, I'd like for you to smile at somebody. Just smile. Do something nice for a relative. It would be so nice if, you could maybe, just call up a relative that you hadn't talked to in a while and say, hey, we need to get together, and just say hello to a stranger. I know sometimes you say hello to people and they look at you crazy, but anyway, just, say hello. And if you do that for me, I'll be real happy. God loves you, and I do too. See you next time. Bye.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so...
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
I'm a different kind of threat. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. You can't call the cops on me.
Do you still want to hang out after?
I don't want your money or your TV. I don't even have to break in. I'm invited.
All right, listen. Don't text and drive. Please don't text and drive. Because these people can't hardly drive nowhere out here. Woo, it's mad out here. These people behind these wheels. People not courteous anymore on the road. Oh, mercy. And listen, please, if you have guns, make sure you put them in a secure place. Once you do that. All right. Now, we're back with Straight Talk here, and we've been around the world. We want to come back as we talked around the world, and we talked local politics. We talked basketball, right? We talked about Trump sleeping. We can't call him sleeping Donald, but we just call him the sleeper.
Dozing Donald.
Dozing. Thank you, man. You come up with that real fast. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Dozing Donald. Well, listen, last week we talked about the cards are falling. House of Cards, Donald Trump House of Cards are falling. Why are they falling? Because a lot of Republicans now are seeing him for who he is, because he's running people against those individuals who came against him and his wrongness. And now he's running, trying to clean the slate. In Georgia, he's trying to run Burt Johnson, right? I don't know how that's going on. Republican side, you got Burt Jones, right? And then you got Jackson, right? And then you got this war going on, look like Kemp supporting Jackson and Burt. Donald Trump supporting Burt and Kemp supporting Burt. I mean, from the subliminal look. I mean, just with the commercials. Now, I'm not saying they're really doing it, but I'm just saying from the subliminal. And then don't forget about Dooley, immense Dooley. You know, they always try to pull these people out like they did Herschel. They always try to pull these people out that, like to your point, these personalities, these names, these high names and stuff like that. So that's another something we talk about. We talk about Georgia politics. But before we talk about Georgia politics, let's talk a little bit about as we end up the session on Donald Trump here with, you know, Donald Trump jumped on Joe Biden, President Biden, son Hunter, told him about the deal, almost had the man put in jail, on all this other stuff, right? And Hillary Clinton and her notes and all that other stuff. Now, we find out stuff that he done did stuff in Mar-a-Lago and took confidential paper, secret paper that he should not have had. Jack Smith is still on that case, ain't went away yet. But now his son, he's going to these countries, taking planes as gifts. That's a bribe. I don't care what nobody said, that's a bribe. And he taking planes as gifts. Then he want to make the plane to make America repurpose the plane for his use, right? And he said when he leave, it won't go to Smithsonian. That's his plane for himself. I mean, really? I mean, all the stuff he's doing, going to countries and cutting deals, and where sons are making money, and sons making money off of selling drones to the military. Why you want to end the war when you're making money, right? When your family making money, why? You propaganda, you want to end it, but on the black side, you engrossing yourself with money.
Right.
No, you're just making money. But I'm gonna stop right there because I know you guys got something you want to say about that. I just want to lead that discussion. So whichever way you want to drink in, come in. I'm getting me a drink of water. I'm thirsty.
Okay, well, I'll start off because then you can finish it.
All right.
Who's watching? Who's watching? See, when Hunter Biden was doing it, the Democrats on the surface try to be fair. So you have a DOJ, you have a special counsel, you have these prosecutors, and they'll say, go ahead and do what you have to do. Now, if we should not have done it, DOJ, do your investigation, do your reports, and we'll deal with the fallout. Trump, on the other end, the DOJ is in his pocket. The Senate is in his pocket. There's no watchdog. There's nobody's watching. So to say,
they say nobody cares. Don't say ain't watching. They're watching. Okay, because they know.
Okay, so
they don't care.
To say they don't care,
right.
or they're not watching.
Right.
That's why it can be open, because there will not be any consequences.
Yeah,
and he knows there aren't being. Therefore,
there's no consequences again because they don't care, because they see just like we see.
But these are. That's why I say who's watching. These are the people who have the ability to check him, but they won't. Whereas
they've been in the Epstein file going on.
Okay, for whatever reason, but for Hunter's situation, they checked him and they made the appearance. Hey, this is wrong. We're gonna go to court. We're gonna let the law adjudicate it, and this is what we're gonna do. We found him guilty, and then Biden said, "I'm not gonna pardon," but then he said, "Look, I better pardon my son because he's gonna be in jail forever." Pardon him, he's done with it. Trump, on the other hand, we're going to do what we want to do in the public, in open, because no one will say anything. And he knows this. And he has people in position who, number one, are not qualified. We talk about DEI, and we some kind of way made black women picture beside it. But DEI, these people who he put in position This last guy who he put in, who his job is just to go after people, and he's the attorney general. Is that the attorney general position?
You're talking about
Todd Blanche.
Todd
Is
Blanche.
he trying to elevate now?
I don't think it's Blanche. It's another guy.
Or the young guy that he just brought into another area.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about. It's so many of them. It's music chairs.
But these guys are that he doesn't.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking.
He doesn't have any intelligence.
Right.
No intelligence experience.
Are you talking about Patel?
No,
He's another one though.
But my point is, these are the people who are watching.
Yeah.
Therefore, I know who's watching. I don't need to hide.
Well,
Nothing's going to happen. So I could be out openly having my son in a war, selling drones, and it's okay. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. The Constitution has been around. It will survive. His time will be up. We will have to have a cleanup period. But this country will not go down because the Constitution is bigger than him and his family.
I have to disagree. Power is perception. The Constitution did not stop any of those police dogs from biting those children during the Civil Rights Movement. The Constitution did not protect Nat Turner after he fought for our liberation to be boiled at the stake. The Constitution is a document. It is a piece of paper. Power is perception. We perceive those who have power. And it's long been said that America is really ruled by the mob, the rabble, this massless group of citizens that we refuse to invest in. We're talking about epidemics of male loneliness. The marriage rate is falling because we are continually over-investing in top 1% billionaires. We are under-investing in the development of quality men and women who can grow up, marry each other, create families, and replicate our way of life. So we are speeding off a cliff, and we cut the brake lines, and we continue to rejoice because we've idolized documents like the Constitution. The Bible tells us very clearly, faith without works is dead. So just because you got the Bible on your mantle don't make you holy. It don't make you on that straight and narrow path. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to prove your faith and prove your justice by living a life of integrity, by being an example, by letting your light so shine before men that they see your good works and then glorify your God, which is in heaven. Just because you run around running your mouth and holding up some hallowed document does not make that document come to life. You need to live by it, and you also need to have external metrics that can allow your works and your efficacy to be judged. This is the biggest element about Trump that is so staggering, that by every metric that we have, whether it's gross domestic product, our GDP, whether it's measuring the weekly and monthly job report, whether it is the approval ratings, all these metrics are thumbs down on Donald Trump, thumbs down on the Republican Party. And even though we do see a couple of Democratic victories in special elections, a lot of these races are still 50-50 going into runoffs. The Republican Party, the GOP, is still earning nearly half of the electorate in local, statewide, and national races throughout this country because popular opinion continues to shield the GOP in whiteness. And this country will refuse to the end of our days to criticize and critique and put a stranglehold on whiteness and white supremacy that continues to dominate our financial system. It dominates our political system. It dominates our educational system. And the Democrats continue to have the popular tag as the party of minorities, the black and brown party. And in this country, we have long said it in our community as black people that we need to be twice as good to be considered half qualified. And when you have these public and commonplace disadvantages inherent to your group, then you can allow for a Democratic presidential son like Hunter Biden to be held underneath scrutiny for everything he did, and yet Republican presidential sons Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and who's the little
Jared
Kushner, and the rest of these cronies are literally getting away with murder. They're insider trading. They are investing in businesses on the private end, and then have their father, the president, go out in speeches and tell Americans to invest and purchase products from the businesses that they just bought.
Right.
So I understand, and I really sympathize with Americans and our desire to want to believe that this is temporary. But the government has been on the take since the beginning. The government has always been in league with business.
Right, because you've been going on and on now. So when you say the government is on the take,
yes,
the government is not on the take. You have we have guardrails, we have laws, then we have people who have to enforce those laws. Now I agree, the people who are in office now are not enforcing the laws. But when you have the Congress, when you have Senate, this Senate and Congress are not functioning because they are Republican, in my opinion, and they're afraid of Trump. Trump will not be there. He's not a king. And these guys are not, this same Republican, this same Senate, this same Congress will not be there forever. I'm sorry, they're not.
But we had similar corruption with George Bush, Dick Cheney, with the Iraq
But if you
War,
talk to the Republicans, they're going to say Obama was corrupt. It depends on who you're talking to. They're going to say Clinton was corrupt. It's the same group. When the Republicans say that the Democrats are evil, every Democrat's going to hell. You've heard, I'm sure you've heard that. If you vote Democrat, you're going to hell. If you ain't heard that, they say that.
I've heard it.
But if we say, how can Republicans read the same Bible that we read? It's your perspective. People do not like Democrats. Unfortunately, that's what we are.
Well, let me stop right here. The bottom line is greed. Simple as that. Just cut through the chase. Whether they're Republican, whether they're Democrat, it's greed. It's what's going in my pocket and what I can have financial security. But it's greed. You're already financially secure, but you want more and more and more and more. It's like you take, like Robin Hood. Robin Hood take from the rich and give to the poor. They take from the poor and give to the rich.
Right.
I wrote down capitalism.
Yeah.
I wrote it in my notes. That's what you're talking about right now.
Absolutely.
I wrote it down.
Absolutely.
Capitalism.
So I mean that's really what the issue is, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. Because you guys are Democrats, and I watch CNN. You know, when the channel when they be doing votes, right? And when I look at those votes, I look how they voting. Many times I've seen people who are Democrat voting with Republicans on issues that would impact us. They cross the line. So it doesn't make any difference whether you're Democrat. That's why some need a Democrat or Republican, because it's just a title. It's just a title because it's whether or not you really care about people. It's people, when you're elected, are you really being elected to serve the people, or are you being elected to serve your own self-interest?
Right. Going back to this idea of government on the tape, this is exactly what I mean, Bishop Tate, Bishop Fan.
Yeah.
Right before we taped this, I came from City Hall and the neighborhood reinvestment fund, they just voting on it. And many of the public speakers, one of the terms I was introduced to from the public speakers was equity washing. I grew up in Atlanta, and when you want to pass a major redevelopment initiative, let's say you want to build a stadium, but the people are against it. Equity washing is when you attach some penny ante social initiative on the back end of, you may build a grocery store, you may fund a nonprofit in the shadow of a stadium, and you do that to throw a bone to the community, but your real goal is to funnel the billions of dollars through the system to build the stadium. That's what happened with Turner Field. That's what happened with Mercedes-Benz. That's what happens with all these major redevelopment initiatives. When we talk about redlining in the Black community, when banks and other financial institutions can literally collude together and redline the property values of majority Black communities, preclude the investment of retail. My community, again, Thomasville Heights here in the city of Atlanta, where I grew up. This is my neighborhood, where I from 4 years old to 18. Sure. There isn't a single medical facility in the Thomasville area. There are no retail stores in that area. It is a community of blight, and that is intentional because the financial institutions intentionally empty out these neighborhoods, let them stay dilapidated until you can put a tag on them and then redevelop them for outside communities to come in and move in. And this has been happening all over the South Side now. The Grant part is totally different than what I've seen. I lived in DC when I went to Howard for graduate school, and the 15 years in which I lived in DC, the same thing happened to Florida Avenue, Georgia Avenue, to Columbia Heights. These are nationwide phenomenon that are impacting individual communities in similar ways. And when it's happening over and over and over again, and all these state legislatures and city hall debates are sounding the same because citizens are facing the same issues, we have to start admitting that this is intentional, that the only groups that are organized effectively in this country are the top 1%, and the government officials who are their buddies and rubber stamping the initiatives that allow them to economically commit genocide. We have food, again, a food desert. It is the most intentional disaster you can ever create. How can you have 18, 16 city blocks in a municipality without an organic grocery store? That the only way people can get food if you are making less than $30,000, and if you live below I-20 here in the city of Atlanta, you got to go to the corner store and get you a bag of Doritos and a honey bun, because that's the only affordable food in your community. That growing carrots and growing cabbage and having quality meats and produce is something that is foreign if you are impoverished in this country.
Okay.
No.
Is that not government on the tape?
No, for a minute. Because government officials, when you talk about government overall, you're talking about the people who represent government. Government is those people who represent in those government positions that deals with what services we're going to get, how we're going to get those services. We were at a meeting earlier today, Ron, talked about, but we talked about how we from here. We had black service station on Hunter Street, Cooper service station. Sherman had 3 service stations over there on Simpson Street. The Mets, they had the one out there on Camden Road. There were black people, and people said blacks don't own service stations, blacks don't own service stations. Black had businesses, they had everything. So it didn't only happen in Tulsa, it happened here, and it's happening here. Because what you have to do is look at the redevelopment plan that they're planning for the city, how North Atlanta has been taken care of. South Atlanta has been ravished. Now they're coming in and they're taking South Atlanta because, to your point, Thomasville, where you had the Thomasville apartments, right there at that corner where the plaza, used to be a plaza there at Custer Avenue and Memorial Drive, Moreland Avenue, right? There was a plaza there. The plaza gone. They got apartments after apartments after apartments built there. No place for no grocery, no place for anything. If you got to go from Thomasville, if you're going someplace, you got to go way up to Kroger. They got a Kroger up there on Moreland Avenue. So I'm just saying is, to the point that he's making it, so we can be clear on the point he's making, is it how are you taking care of the least, the less, the lost, and the left out? I mean, those are real things. And then government is allowing for a lot of things that's happening with this AI and all of this other stuff that's taking place. It's going to take jobs. It's going to take jobs. Everybody ain't going to be on. Like I know, when I grew up downtown Atlanta, right in front of the Atlanta Government Center, there was a parking lot there. It used to be all right parking lot. And we used to hustle push groceries from F&F, H.L. Green, all those stores are there. Well, where's H.L. Green? It's gone. Where F&F? It's gone. All the stores that were down there are gone. That parking lot now is a passive park right down right at the corner of Mitchell and P Street. It's a Passion Park. So they redesigned, they created all these bicycle lanes and all this other stuff. And if you're not careful, and I've been telling people this for years, if you're not careful, there'll be toll bridges, toll lanes out on the expressway, because all this talking about we're going to do away with property tax away, you got to replace the money with something else. So what do? You put up toll. When you see all the traffic, our cars out here on the expressway, on a Sunday, I could go anywhere I want to go on a Sunday on the expressway. It's bumper to bumper. It's Sunday. Sunday is bumper to bumper. It's just bumper. So I'm just saying that's government there. Because they're driving it to be that way. So we're talking about government, we're talking about the people who are in power and positions in government. Because let's go back, and now. I'm a little older than y'all. The Goldwater was it at one time. Barry Goldwater, you couldn't get nothing to it. The Goldwaters, they were everything, the Heinz, all of those people, they were the money. They were the people, you don't hear their names called anymore. It's a whole new crew.
But they're doing the same thing.
They're doing the same thing. It's the same thing, but a whole new crew. So when you're talking about government, I believe that's pretty much what he's saying is the people who are empowered in those positions who represent government. I get your point in that, the Constitution is saying, but it's only as strong as that red light out there, there a stop sign out there, and then somebody said, well, the red light is red, but I'm going. And the stop sign is...
And that red light ain't going to stop.
But where do we go from here? Because we have a president now who has pushed the Constitution to its limits, and there has not been anyone in the Supreme Court to check it, nor has there been anyone in the Senate and in the House to check it. So now the next, even if it's a Democrat president, will that person come in and say, hey, we ain't going to worry about this document anymore, because if you don't vote for me, I'm going to primary you, you're going to get kicked out. If that's where we are as a country, then that's what's going to happen. But if someone's going to bring stability back into the process, and I'm going to say this last name, and I'm going to be done.
No, you're not.
Property Sam, when we talked about the least, the lost, and the left out,
absolutely.
The president who represented that the most, and they probably say is the worst, was Jimmy Carter.
I agree with that. The greatest president in my book. I agree.
But history, time would say he didn't do anything. But he represented that group. And we can go Democrat, we can go Republican, whoever. The rest of them, they I'm not saying they had an agenda, but they pushed the country forward whichever way they did. Some agreed and some didn't.
I would absolutely say they had an agenda.
But most people probably disliked Jimmy Carter.
They did.
And he was probably the one who did the most for the least.
But what you're saying is absolutely true, because that goes with what he said about government. It's the corruption. A decent person, a real decent, honest person can't serve in government. They gave Jimmy Carter one term because he was too good of a person. He had morals. The people they may go in with morals, but once they get in, they get caught up in that same corrupt system. That's what he's talking about, government. So the end is as preachers, we're preachers now. That's first of all, we're preachers. You ask what's going to happen when God come back and God straighten out, because he said, let the wheat and the tare grow up together. He's going to do the separating. And when separating time comes, he's going to separate all of the wheat from the tare. And what we have to do is, as ministers, as my late pastor said, in a sermon he preached, and I think I said it today. I said, he preached two sermons that grabbed me, Reverend Abernathy did. One when I was 9 years old. God can do anything but fail.
Right.
He's able to do anything but fail. I believe that.
That's true.
We're in the fiery furnace, but we ain't going to burn up.
Right.
Because as long as we stay with God, we're going to be all right. And then the other thing he said, he preached a sermon, Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? And what he was saying in that message was, it's our job to tell people what's going on over in the city. And a lot of times we get so caught up in the greed ourselves, or fame or popularity or people calling our names that we forget what we were called to do. And then once we tell people what's going on in the city, then there becomes little Paul Revere's running around saying and telling people what's going on in the city. See, when we were in our community, in our neighborhood, that's what we did. See, when people say, well, integration is the worst thing in the world for us. No, integration wasn't the worst thing in the world for us. It was us, because we left our own hood. We didn't have to leave our hood. We did that. We left the hood. When we left, businesses closed down. When we left, service stations closed down. When we left Kirkwood, they took Kirkwood. That was the first place they took was Kirkwood and Edgewood, and they kept coming this way. They built a golf course out there. They've been out there for years and years and years. The East Lake Golf Course. They started building up, and then they started moving over into Kirkwood, and then they started moving over to Cabbagetown, Reynoldstown. I'm just talking about what's real. But they left the other side of Atlanta, the southeast side, that lower portion with Thomasville. They left them out. That was a cutoff right there. They left them out, right? Then because that was the Cab Fulton side, pretty much on that area down there. Big Starlight Drive-In that was down there. There was a grocery store down there, neighborhood grocery store down there. I mean, it was just so much, but they ain't do nothing down there to improve that end. Nothing. Then they raped Thomasville, the Thomasville apartment, Four Seasons apartments, and all of that, and it's devastated right around the federal pen. But guess what they're doing now? They taking Boulevard, where the OWYZE was, and if you look at that area there, whole new.
It's a mellow mushroom there. The belt line is right there.
Yeah, Inglewood apartment, they built right. I mean, where General Motors used to be, and that church, Antioch church that used to be there, and how they put houses in that where the parking lot and stuff was, with General Motors. I mean, they selectively doing stuff. When you talk about grocery store, I went with Bishop White the other day, and we were talking about how many grocery stores were food deserts. We're talking about food deserts. So we were looking at food deserts. On this side, only thing you got is the Kroger, Cleveland, and Metropolitan. But they got, if you look on there, they got a so-called Carl Community Store. We went in there. It's right there with the Via, with Jonesboro Road and McDonald Boulevard right there. They done tore that service station down. But they got that plaza there. They got a grocery store in there that's selling quality food. And it's not a big grocery store. It's like a mom and pop store, but they're selling quality food in that store. And on the other side, they got a coffee shop, because they have moved back in that area, and they building what they want for themselves, and that not for us. So we just got to understand, as we're looking at what's going on, and when we talk about government, it's who we're electing too, because people go in and we elect them, they're not fighting for us and fighting for our community. That's one of the reasons why I support the TAD and the NRI. They had nothing to do with the mayor. It has to do with the people, because we deserve it. We've been paying the taxes all these years. All our grandmama and granddad and mom and dad, they've been paying all these taxes all these years, and we haven't gotten benefit for our fair share. North Atlanta has overly done great. We have suffered and continue. So we need a hospital. We need a hospital down here. We need not just South Fulton. We need a hospital in West End. You close down South Fulton Hospital. We don't have any medical facilities and all that stuff. And we got Morehouse School of Medicine right over here, which could be a training hospital for our students, like they do for Emory with Crawford Loan. So we got to open up our eyes to see what's really going on. Our schools are closing down. Why they're closing down? They say they don't have enough kids to come to the school, because people moving in our community, they don't send their kids to our school. So I mean, it's just real talk. It's straight talk, y'all. There ain't nobody but Greg Fan talking straight talk right now. But we'll get ready to get out of here now, because these two guys, they gonna go, and I had to come in and referee. But hey,
thank you, Rep. Appreciate you, Rep.
But listen, hey, this is what I want to say to you guys. Don't forget to share our program. Like our program, share it, make comments. And listen, if you have comments and you want to be on the program, all you got to do is call Straight Talk. Text, and I'm good like Cynthia now, right? Straight Talk. Go to Straight Talk News at 1362@gmail.com. Straight Talk News 1362@gmail.com. And subscribe to our channel. I want you to do that. Hey, Shannon gonna be back one of these days. One of these days, he's coming back.
We miss you, buddy.
All right. Hey, this ain't been nothing but what? Straight Talk.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Van at FANN922@Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shannon Jones and Greg Van, the Preacher Man.